Gervonta Tank Davis deserves all the respect in the world for fighting Frank Martin. Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Do not like Gervonta Tank Davis's moves. Don't. I make no beef, no qualms about it. I don't like his moves. But when he makes the right move or moves in the right direction, you've got to call it for what it is. Like, bro, Frank Martin is one of the best opponents that this man could fight. There is only a handful. Devin, Shakur, Loma, Tio, Subdial, Frank. That is all, bro. Really, that's really all. That's the handful in there. Frank Martin is one of the best fighters he could fight. One of the best. And I'm seeing a lot of people like downing and degrading the fight itself. And you guys make it impossible for a fighter to fight high level competition. You make it impossible. You really do, because if he can't fight nobody but Devin, Shakur, or Tio, or Loma, that's only 4 fights. So that's the only fight he's going to fight for the remainder of his career. There's going to be somebody sprinkled in between here. Like, I'm a huge advocate of, hey man, we all know who the top names are in every single division. We know who they are. This isn't a mystery. We know who the top names are. If you are fighting one of the top names, then you should get respect and credit for fighting one of the top names. Like, we can't down and degrade everybody this man fights, bro. Like, now, did he fight a bunch of bums? Yes. Did he fight motherfuckers in the past? So, like, come on, bro. But Frank Martin is not none of that. He's not none of that. This is a Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. This is the best fight and the best. Now, I get it. The resume may not dictate it when it comes to both of these guys. But the style does. And styles make fights. They always have and they always will. Frank Martin is a dog. Tank Davis, we about to see. You believe he's a dog. You feel he's a dog. You may even think, I know for a fact. You may have this in your mind. Frank Martin is no bum. And for people to be down and degrading Frank Martin as if he ain't nothing. Oh, man, he didn't. Okay, if that's the case, then I'm expecting none of you guys to buy this. I know you're not just buying nothing. You're not buying fights for nothing, right? I know y'all are buying them for something. So if Frank is nothing, then you guys shouldn't be buying this pay-per-view. I am an advocate that I refuse to buy anything that I'm not asking for. I asked for Tank to fight Frank Martin 2-3 years ago. I said, if you're not going to fight this guy and this guy and this guy and that guy, then at least fight Frank Martin. He's up there. He's one of the top stylistically. He's up there. He is fighting Frank Martin. It may not be the creme de la creme. It may not be the best of the best, but he's one of the best. And if we can't acknowledge that Tank Davis is fighting the best competition of his career, if we can't acknowledge that, no, this is one of the best fights that can be made, then we're degrading ourselves, we're selling ourselves short, and we're really proving to be Tank Davis haters. I don't like his moves. But when he's moving correctly, it must be called for what it is. That's how you get validity in the sport. That's how people look at you and say, okay, all right, I understand. All right, I don't be liking when he be talking about tanking or whatever the case may be here or right here, but come on, he's right with this one. And I know there's a lot of Tank fans are going to say, oh, yeah, you're right, because you guys just rock with Tank, period. It doesn't matter what he does, you just rock with Tank. But I'm more speaking towards the Tank fans and the Tank haters. I'm more speaking towards you guys. Listen, bro, did Tank mess up the fight with Devin Haney? Yes, he did. Do a lot of people going to hold him accountable for that and responsible for that? You could. I understand it. I do. I definitely understand it. I get it. But at the same time, this fight with Frank Martin is a very good fight. Very good fight. One that this man could arguably lose. This is not an easy fight for this man. Not even remotely close. This is not easy, man. At all. So if his man is taking on the level of a Frank Martin and he is to become successful, he comes out on top of this. Bro, you gotta be like, okay, all right, Tank. You proved this one. You did this one. You did this one. So now let's make sure we keep this going. You know, you did this one. But all I see is, well, Frank never fought for a belt. So what? No fighter fought for a belt until they did. No fighter. No fighter. Nobody, whoever you want to name, Usyk, Terrence Crawford, Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, it doesn't matter. Whoever you want to name, Devin Haney, name whoever you want, Shakur Stevenson, no one fought for a belt until they did. When they fought for a belt, now they fought for a belt. But before that, they all were in the same boat, fighting people with no belt on the line. But that's what I keep hearing people say when they talk about Frank Martin, as if he's a bum. He's not a bum. Tank beating Frank is a phenomenal victory on his resume, and it will not be easy. And I don't believe he can do it. I don't, bro. I don't pick against neither one of these guys. I want them both to be successful. And it doesn't matter who wins this fight for me. They're still both the best. It doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter to me. If Frank Martin wins, cool. If Tank wins, cool. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to lose and someone's going to win. But they're both the best fighting the best. Both of them. Both of them. Right? You have Devin, Tio, Subriel, Shakur, Loma, Gary Antoine. You have Keyshawn Davis. You have Abdullah Mason. Like those, you got those guys right there. Those. And then if you want to drop it down to the lower levels, you got other hitters down there like Oshak and Shamar Canal. You got other hitters down there. Right? But he's more than likely going to be not going down there like that unless it's a Monster Anui type deal if Tank is successful. Frank is not doing that neither at all. Frank is going to be going up, looking up. He's looking straight across and up. He ain't looking down at nobody down there. If they move up to him eye to eye, well then here you go. Like if Oshak was to move up to 135, then he a dog and he in the mix with all these guys. Those are phenomenal fights. You know what I'm saying? But right now, Oshak doing his thing at 130, so you know that's where he gonna be. But if you look around at the landscape of things, you've got, bro, Frank Martin is one of the best fighters at 135. He's one of the best. Frank Martin could move to 140 and dominate up there. Not everybody, don't get it twisted now. But he can make some noise, some serious noise, bro. Frank is not a little guy, bro. He's a stocky dude. He can go to 140 and make some noise and dominate. I think Frank Martin will beat the brakes off of Regis Porter. Dead ass serious. I think he'll beat the brakes off of Regis. I think Frank Martin will give all of these guys problems. Every last one of them. He'll definitely beat the brakes off Josh Taylor. In my opinion, he'll stop Josh Taylor. He might stop Josh Taylor at 140 and Catterall. Like he is a dog, bro. He is a dog. He will give Devin problems. I don't think he can beat Devin at all, but he'll give him problems. He'll give all those guys problems. He'll get every last one of them, bro. If you really want to look at the landscape of things, bro, Frank Martin can mix right in with everybody. He can mix right in. There's some people that I don't think he can rock with. I don't think he can mess with Abdullah Mason, and I don't think he can mess with Devin Haney. The boxer Devin Haney. Don't come out and try to just slug with everybody. That's not what you do. Like, you're a master boxer, an absolute master. And if you box and use your masterful skills, ain't nobody messing with Devin. I don't give a damn who you are. You're not beating them. But that's neither here nor there. Frank Martin is in the mix with everybody. He is that nice, bro. So Tank beating Frank is a huge feather in his cap. A huge feather. This is validation. This validates this man's skills. This says, bro, if I beat someone like Frank Martin, then, hey, man, Shakur, we look at this fight differently with Shakur. Doesn't mean that he could beat Shakur? No. But doesn't mean that he can't. I would favor him depending on how he beats Frank Martin. And what I mean by that is, if Gervonta beats Frank Martin, I would favor him over everybody not named Devin. Everybody. That'd be just simply because what the style that Frank brings to him is comparable to all the top dudes. It's comparable. I would favor him I think him and Shakur Stevenson is a 50-50 fight. I think him and Devin, I don't think he could beat Devin at all. I don't. But it is what it is. It's my opinion. I think him and Subiat Matisse is a shootout. I think him and Gary Antoine's a shootout. I think he destroys Teofimo Lopez. Everybody's so hype on Teo. Like, Teo, he destroys Teofimo Lopez. I don't believe Teofimo Lopez can beat Shakur Stevenson at all. I don't believe Teo can beat Abdullah Mason or damn Keyshawn Davis. I believe Keyshawn Davis dog walks him. Whatever. Frank Martin is an absolute dog. An absolute dog. And we should be calling this man an absolute dog. Specifically Tank fans. If you guys are out here downing and degrading Frank Martin, talk about Tank gonna knock him out, you guys don't understand that you are hindering Tank Davis. You should be like, man, this is a good fight. This is a tough one, bro. Man, I don't know. I got Tank over everybody, but this is a tough one. That's what you should be more on the line with, because you are praising Tank by saying his competition is tough, when we know for a fact that his competition in the past was straight garbage. 100% trash. Garbage. This is the best fight on his resume, the best name. And he hasn't beat him, and he might lose. He might lose. But this is the best. We've got to, if we want the sport of boxing to mean something, to be worth anything, then when a fighter is fighting the top competition, we have to call it for what it is, so that when he's fighting not the count that he should be fighting, we can, then that matters, right? If we say he's fighting bums, then we should be able to say this guy is the goods. He is fighting a dog. Because that makes us, when we say he's fighting a bum, it gives us validity. That validates us calling a fighter a bum if we can call a fighter the goods that he's fighting. But if everybody he fights is bums, I see people out here right now just breaking down all kinds of stuff with Frank, as if Frank ain't good, as if Frank's a dog, Frank is trash and he's not this and he's not that. Like, bro, you're not doing Tank no favors, bro. You're not doing him no favors by saying Tank's gonna just knock him out, just gonna go in there and destroy this man, you're not doing him no favors, bro. That is not helping Tank Davis, bro, at all. You're literally degrading him by saying you guys are, he's just going to go in there and knock Frank Martin out. Then why y'all want to see it? Why? I don't want to see fighters that I rock with in fights that's just going to just go in there and just wash them easy as. No, I want to see fighters that I rock with challenged. I want to see them in there with stuff that's nail biters for me. That's like, ooh, what they're going to do. Like, damn, how they going to get out of this one? Like, that's what I want to see. That's what makes fights great. Not just, this guy's going to go in there and get knocked out and okay, whatever. You're just waiting for which round is going to get knocked out in. Whatever. Like, man, don't nobody give a damn about that, bro. The fighters that, if you fight in a fighter that should not be in the ring with you, that literally degrades you. Because now if you don't get that fighter out of there in the first round or two or a couple of rounds, well, how good are you? So if you guys are running around here talking about how Frank ain't this and Frank ain't that and Frank is a bum and Frank ain't beat nobody and Frank ain't did this and Frank ain't did that, and you're a Tank fan and you're trying to down Frank as if Frank is trash, you're an idiot. An absolute idiot. You can never come talk to me about nothing. Oh, well, BF, you said Frank was a good. Yeah, I did say Frank was a good, but you said he was trash. You said he was trash. You're not helping Tank Davis by saying his competition is trash, bro. You're hurting that dude. No, what you should be saying is, man, Frank's a dog. So that when and if he beats Frank, you can say he fought a dog. But y'all, I guess that's too much for you guys. You guys are too much. Y'all just got to down and degrade everybody. Oh, Frank's a bum. Frank, man, watch. Frank gonna get knocked out. Frank is trash. Frank ain't nobody. And he go. Then why you want Tank to fight him? Why don't you want Tank to fight the guys that are not trash, that are not bums, that are not just going to go in there and just get knocked out? Why don't you want Tank to fight those guys? It makes you guys look soft and scary. It makes Tank look bad. Bro, I'm a boxing diehard. Frank Martin is a dog. He is not a bad fighter. He is a dog, a very, very good fighter. I was surprised that he even took this fight. I said he wouldn't take it, but he did. So if I can criticize this man for the level of competition that he was fighting, then I should be able to praise this man for him fighting Frank Martin. If I cannot praise him for fighting Frank Martin, but then I can criticize him for fighting everybody else, then I'm a hater and nothing more. That's it. I'm nothing more. No, Frank Martin is a dog. I've been asking for this man to fight Frank Martin, and he's fighting Frank Martin. I didn't ask him to fight Ryan Garcia. I wanted him to knock Ryan Garcia out because I don't like Ryan Garcia. I never liked Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a scammer. He's always been that. It's not just with Devin Haney. Check the receipts. Check the receipts. Go back before he even fought Devin. Go back months, years ago. Ryan has always been garbage. Always been trash. Always. I wanted Tank to fight that man because I wanted Tank to knock his ass out for all that weird ass conversation and all this. Oh, I'm gonna knock Tank out in 2 rounds and all this other goofy ass stuff. And then he sends you a contract and now you fighting Manny Pacquiao. And then the Manny Pacquiao fight falls out and you never circle back around and be like, hey Tank, can I get that contract back? No, you don't do none of that. You just move on glazing and using this man's name. But then all y'all want to say, oh, Devin used his name. Devin actually wanted to fight him. Ryan Garcia didn't want to fight him at all. Tank wanted to fight Ryan. But whatever. I know you guys will try to spin that around in whatever type of way because y'all really don't like Devin and try to make this a Devin Haney conversation, but it's not. It's a Frank Martin Tank conversation. Frank Martin is the goods. He is a dog. He is a very good fighter. One of the best at 135. Top 5. Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko. Shakur, Tank, Loma, Frank. He's top 4, bro. Who's higher? Zapata? Who? Shakur, or Tank or Shakur, whichever one you want is number 1. Lomachenko, and Frank Martin. That's 135. There's your top 4. He is fighting a top 4 guy. Behind that is everybody else. George Bozo and whoever else you want to put there. That's it. That's it at 35. Those are your guys. Tank, Shakur, Loma, and what's his name? Frank. That's it, y'all. Frank is a top 5 guy at 135. That is who Tank is fighting, a top 5 guy. And we should be giving the man the respect of fighting a top 5 guy. Because if you don't give him the respect for fighting a top 5 guy, what's his reasoning or what's the purpose or what's the desire to fight another top 5 guy? If we're not going to praise and give this man the respect that he deserves when he deserves it, the problem is y'all want to glaze him for doing anything. Those guys that he's fighting, the Fonsecas, the Cuellars, them dudes is garbage. Frank Martin is not that. Frank Martin is a dog. Frank Martin is a savage. He is a phenomenal fighter, and he's got a phenomenal coach. And he's got phenomenal fighters in his corner. He's got a phenomenal team, and he's a phenomenal fighter. He don't know how to lose. He can crack. He can move. He's got a brain trust in Derek James. He's got an ear to speak to in Errol Spence. He's got it all, bro. inside and outside the ring. This is not an easy fight for Tank, and if Tank is successful, he must get credit. Because giving the man credit, if he beats Frank, which I don't think he will, but if he beats Frank, if he does, then you must give him credit, because that aids and assists in him fighting another one on Frank's level or better. But if you down and degrade him for fighting Frank Martin, then what is the incentive of fighting anybody else? What's the incentive of fighting Shakur Stevenson? What's the incentive of fighting Lomachenko? What? There's no incentive if you're going to down and degrade him for fighting a top 5 guy, and that's what Frank Martin is, a top 5 guy. That's what he is. There's no incentive of fighting a Keyshawn Davis, a Williams. For what? I'll just go fight some other Liam, Caleb, Ricardo Garcia did. If y'all not gonna, support me when I'm fighting a top 5 guy, then what the hell's the point of fighting a top 5 guy? I'm Tank Davis. I'm gonna get paid anyway. I'll fight anybody I want. No. If we want the best to fight the best, then we should be supporting Tank versus Frank. We should be praising Tank versus Frank. We should be pushing Tank versus Frank. We should be out here saying, this is what we're talking about, Tank. This is what you need to do for the rest of your career. This is what we're doing. This is what we should be doing. Not downing, oh, Frank's a bum. Frank ain't beat nobody. Frank ain't do nothing. Frank blah, 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 yada, 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 because Frank didn't get a chance to. He is now getting one. And all you guys are, all you Tank fans, really you guys, the Tank fans, really, the guys that say, oh man, he gonna get knocked, they gonna knock him out. If Frank Martin beats him, you're degrading Tank Davis and you don't even realize it. So now the guy that you say is just gonna get knocked out, he's just gonna get stopped, he's just gonna get beat up, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He's just gonna do this, yada, yada, yada. Well, then he goes in there and wins. Now you have to answer to all that. Now, how good is Tank now? How good is Tank? This is the first level of competition he's fought in his career. The first, the top level, the first. The best fighter of his resume. Well, I'm not going to say the first, but I will say the best. Jose Pedraza, Frank Martin. 2 fighters. Stylistically, who are the best level of competition he fought in his career. We should be praising this man for doing this. You're doing what we asked you to do. We shouldn't be downing Frank Martin. Just like I said, if you're downing Frank Martin, you're kicking this man to the curb and he's just going to get knocked out. It's twofold. One, if he wins, which I believe he will, then you guys are going to be looking stupid as hell. If you're downing and degrading this man and Tank goes in there and just wipes him out, well, then you put Frank in the same category as all the other bums that Tank fought. And he is not. And if you're a Tank fan, then you should be praising this fight because this is the best one he's fought in. This is the best one he's fought in. The only fights that are better than this is Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson at 135. There is nobody else better than this. This is it, y'all. Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. Keyshawn Davis is behind Frank Martin. Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson are the only fights that are better than this. But if you guys don't support it, if you guys don't praise Frank like you should be, if everybody's a fucking bum, everybody, oh, he only fights, but everybody's a bum, okay, if everybody's a bum, everybody, then there is no incentive for him to fight anybody. Somebody must not be a bum, y'all. Frank Martin is not a bum at all. He is a dog. He is an absolute dog, and like I said, I believe he's going to win this fight. And, bro, there should be boxing diehards like myself that believe Frank is going to win this fight. There should be. Everybody shouldn't just be, oh man, Tank on them, demolish him, Tank on them. Bro, if that's the case, what is the point of the fight? What is the point, bro? There should be someone that says, bro, Frank gonna beat him. That's what makes it all worthwhile. Because then you can come back to me and say, hey, BF, you thought Frank was going to win and Frank lost. Or I could go to you and say, hey, you thought Tank was going to win and Tank lost, right? We can have those conversations. Go to real boxing pages, real boxing diehards like myself, like KO, real boxing pages like people like that on the level who we just disagree on certain topics. But we're actually real boxing heads. King G the boxologist, right? We're real boxing heads. Yeah, we can have those conversations. If you think that Frank is just going to get washed and just going to get knocked out, then there is no point in this fight. None. And there is no point in telling me that this guy is the best and that guy is the best. there's no point, because all that means is when the fight happens, if you don't like this guy, then you're going to change it and say he's a bum now, when you were saying he's the best. He's one of the best. And I have been saying that Frank Martin is one of the best for years. Because he is. And like I said, I believe he's going to beat Tank Davis. But if he loses, so what? This is still the best fight, and the best are still the best. Someone's going to lose, but both of them are still the best. And that's exactly how I feel, and that's exactly where I stand. BFTB, shout to the mighty LDBC.